Manchester, May 2005. A football club with no debt, a stadium full of history, a fan base that believed football was theirs. And then one family arrived from Florida. They brought no passion for the sport, no connection to the city, no love for the shirt. They brought spreadsheets, lawyers, and one bank, J.P. Morgan. By the time it was over, Manchester United owed nearly £1 billion. Not to rivals, not to bad investments, to the people who bought them. This is not a football story. This is a heist story. And the most extraordinary part? It was completely legal. Malcolm Glazer did not look like a man who would steal a football club. Elderly, American, a businessman from Florida who owned an NFL team and knew nothing about Manchester, nothing about Old Trafford, nothing about the working-class community that built this club from nothing. But he knew one thing very well: how to use other people's money. In 2005, Glazer completed his takeover through a leveraged buyout, an LBO. Here's how it works. You want to buy a company worth £1 billion. You do not have £1 billion, so you borrow the money. J.P. Morgan leads the financing. You complete the purchase, and then you transfer the debt onto the company you just bought. The company now owes the money, not you. Think about that image. You buy a house using a mortgage, and then you make the house pay the mortgage. That is what the Glazers did to Manchester United. Manchester United in 2005 had zero debt. Zero. By the end of that week, £790 million of debt, placed on the club without a single fan vote, without a single shareholder agreement. And every year since, that debt has generated interest. Quiet, systematic, relentless. But the debt was only the beginning, because the real cost of the Glazers was something you could never see on a balance sheet. For a while, nobody noticed, because there was one man standing between the Glazers and the full fury of the fan base: Sir Alex Ferguson. As long as Ferguson was winning, and he won everything, the debt was background noise. Fans complained. Ferguson retired in 2013, and the moment he left, the umbrella disappeared. It started raining immediately. 6 managers in 10 years. 0 Champions League titles. 0 Premier League titles after 2013. And through all of it, the debt remained. The dividends kept flowing, and Old Trafford kept deteriorating. The roof started leaking, not metaphorically, literally. Buckets on the floor of the Theatre of Dreams, while Manchester City built a state-of-the-art training complex, while Liverpool renovated Anfield, the Glazers extracted. They never invested a single pound of their own money into Old Trafford infrastructure. Not £1. The umbrella was gone, and what came next was not just rain, it was a flood. And the numbers were about to become impossible to hide. Since 2005, Manchester United have paid over £1.1 billion in debt servicing, interest payments, and financial fees. £1.1 billion. That is money that did not go to players, did not go to the stadium, did not go to the academy. It went to banks, to bondholders, to financial institutions in New York and London who have never watched a game at Old Trafford. And then there are the dividends. Manchester United is one of the only major clubs in the Premier League that pays regular dividends to shareholders. Who are the majority shareholders? The Glazer family. The fans bought tickets. Tourists bought jerseys. Television viewers across the world watched the matches. And a portion of every pound went to Florida. £0 of Glazer money went into Old Trafford. But that was not the worst thing they did. The worst thing came in April 2021, and it involved the same bank that made the whole thing possible in 2005. April 2021. Joel Glazer co-signed a document that almost destroyed European football. The European Super League. 12 founding clubs. No promotion, no relegation. Guaranteed revenue regardless of performance. It was not a sporting project. It was a financial product, designed to protect investments like the Glazers from the inconvenient uncertainty of actual competition. And who was set to financially back the entire project? J.P. Morgan, the same bank that financed the Glazer takeover in 2005. 16 years apart, same bank, same logic, same extraction. Within 48 hours, the project collapsed. Fan fury was overwhelming. United fans stormed Old Trafford. The match against Liverpool was postponed. Fans stood on the pitch holding scarves in green and gold, the original colors of Newton Heath. Green and gold, not red and white. You do not own our soul. You only own the shares. And then came the apology. Joel Glazer appeared on a video call with fan representatives. Uncomfortable, disconnected. A billionaire in a room somewhere in America, apologizing to people whose club he had been draining for 16 years. Fans called it a hostage video. They were not entirely wrong. J.P. Morgan, the bank that built the takeover in 2005. The bank that tried to build the Super League in 2021. Same bank, same game, different decade. In 2022, the Glazers announced they were considering selling. Fans celebrated. After 17 years, they were finally leaving. They were not leaving. Sir Jim Ratcliffe purchased approximately 25% of the club for around $1.3 billion. The Glazers kept the majority, kept the control, kept the dividends. They sold a minority stake at a valuation that made them even richer, and remained in charge. Ratcliffe got the football operations. The Glazers kept the money. United fans waited 17 years for liberation. What they got was a new minority partner and the same majority owners. The Glazers never left. They just found a way to make even more money from leaving. And the debt is still there, close to £1 billion, nearly 20 years later. When the Glazers arrived in 2005, Manchester United had zero debt. Today, the club carries close to £1 billion of debt, still paying interest, still servicing loans placed on the club by the people who bought it. The Glazers did not destroy Manchester United. They did something more sophisticated. They extracted value from it, quietly, systematically, for nearly 2 decades. Ferguson's umbrella is gone. The rain has not stopped since. The fans still come. They still sing. They still believe. And a portion of every ticket they buy has been flowing to Florida. This is not a story about Manchester United. It is a story about what happens when sport becomes an asset, and the asset has no loyalty, no memory, no soul. Watch the numbers. Always watch the numbers. If this video changed the way you see football, subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what story you want next, because the next one is already waiting. Barcelona went bankrupt. United was quietly drained. But somewhere across the Atlantic, a different story is being written. One that has nothing to do with debt and everything to do with the future. The United States, the 2026 World Cup, and why America is about to become the most powerful force in football business.